Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're diving into a children's story. Yeah, a children's story about a blue dragon from Scotland. Now I know what you might be thinking. A kid's story? But trust me, the journey of Dylan the dragon is this incredible case study and a challenge that, let's be honest, we all face. How to make new friends.
So, really, what can a kid's story about a lonely dragon actually teach us about real-world connection? Well, it turns out a lot. It's funny how sometimes the simplest stories, they hold the most profound lessons about how we succeed and, how we sometimes fail at building relationships. So, let's get into it.
All right, so first up, let's meet our main character, Dylan. Picture this. He's a young blue dragon and he lives way up in the Rockstone Mountains of Scotland. He spends his days flying through these incredible valleys. Sounds amazing, right? But even with all that, he has a problem. A really, really common one. And here's the heart of it, right here. He tells his mom, "I'm lonely. I can't find anyone to play with." And man, that feeling is just so universal, isn't it? It's what drives this whole story. He's literally surrounded by all this stunning beauty, but he's got no one to share it with. That's a tough spot to be in.
So his mom comes up with a pretty simple solution. Go where the potential friends are. The plan is straightforward. Fly down to the village playground and meet the kids. Dylan gets super excited about this, and the very next day, he's off to make it happen.
Okay, but here's the thing. As we all know, having a plan is one thing, but actually pulling it off, that's a whole different ballgame. And Dylan's first attempt, well, it's a perfect example of how even the best intentions can just go completely spectacularly wrong.
So Dylan's strategy is based on this one big assumption. He sees the kids wearing their school uniforms and thinks, aha, I just need to look the part. So he finds a baseball cap and a school tie, thinking if he can just, blend in visually, that'll be enough. He's hoping a little disguise is all it's going to take.
And the result? Oh, it's pure chaos. Total pandemonium. Before he can even say hello, the kids just see this giant dragon. Who cares if he's wearing a tie, right? They just panic. They don't see a friendly guy wanting to play. They see a huge, scary threat.
And this right here? This is a textbook communication breakdown. Let's look at this. His intent was totally positive, right? He just wanted to make friends. But his impact, well, it was the complete opposite. Because he didn't stop to think about how a bunch of kids would perceive a giant dragon landing on their playground, he ended up causing panic and fear. Not exactly the first step to friendship.
So, a sadder and definitely wiser Dylan flies home. But here's the cool part. He doesn't give up. He learns from his mistake. His second attempt is way more strategic. He realizes he can't just show up and hope for the best. He needs a real plan, one that tackles the fear he created head-on. He needs what we're calling the white flag strategy. And check out the shift in his approach here. It's huge. He's not just trying to look the part anymore. He's proactively communicating his intentions before he even says a word. A white handkerchief, a big white flag, these are universal symbols for "I come in peace." This time, his number one priority is managing their fear. And then when he finally does speak, look how simple and direct his message is. No fluff, no small talk, he just gets straight to the point. I just want to play and be friends. That's it. And that kind of clarity, man, it makes all the difference in the world. So this time, it works. The kids don't run away. They actually stop, and they listen. Dylan has cleared that first massive hurdle, the fear. But okay, problem solving is never that easy, is it? Now he's up against a new challenge, a more practical one. And this question is such a pivotal moment. The whole dynamic of the conversation has shifted. Think about it. They're not screaming in terror anymore. They're asking a totally logical, practical question. How can we play with you? That's a massive step forward. It means they've accepted his good intentions, and now they're just trying to figure out the how. And Dylan's answer, it's a total masterstroke. This is where he really shines. He takes what everyone, including himself probably, saw as his biggest disadvantage, his giant size, and he flips it. He turns it into his greatest asset. He offers them something that only he can provide. Hey, how about a ride through the mountains? That's his unique value proposition, right there. And of course, the kids are ecstatic. Who wouldn't be? They all climb onto his back, and from that day on, Dylan isn't just a friend, he becomes the absolute center of their fun. He becomes the best playground ride ever. And that's how a real, lasting friendship was born.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? What can we learn from Dylan? Well, his journey from being lonely to being loved gives us this surprisingly simple but really effective blueprint for how to connect with people. And it's something we can all use.
Okay, let's break down the lessons from our dragon, because they're really clear. First, communicate your intent. Don't just assume people know what you're thinking. They can't read your mind. Second, and this one's huge, acknowledge their fears first. You can't build a connection if the other person feels threatened. Third, leverage your differences. Take whatever makes you different and turn it into your unique strength. And finally, solve practical problems. Remember, friendship isn't just about good vibes. It needs a practical bridge, a shared activity to be built on.
And that really brings us to the final question for you. When you look at Dylan's journey, that first disastrous attempt, compared to a second successful one, it's pretty clear that sometimes just small, strategic tweaks in how we approach people can lead to massively different results. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Think about your own life, your work, your relationships. Where could one small change in your approach make the biggest difference? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.